YouTube copyright madness continues, Dota 2 launches for everyone, and of course this week's sexy cosplayer. All that and more on your Weekend Geek News for Saturday, December 21st, 2013. I'm Sean Caspian, and you found the Geek Spot, your source for all things geeky and good. So our first story of the day is more news about the copyright claims sweeping across YouTube for Let's Players and game reviewers. The whole thing really has just gotten out of control and continues to be a huge mess for content creators. People are being flagged for everything from uploading footage of other people's games to uploading footage of their very own games they in fact themselves have created. Thankfully, there are some groups out there who are trying to make some good out of this situation. One such group is called Who Let's Play. They're a non-profit organization who's seeking to centralize information about how game publishers treat content creators when they use their footage for things like reviews and Let's Play videos. Who Let's Play is also working very closely with legal copyright experts to help create an industry standard when supposed copyright infringement happens when creating these gaming videos. Here's to hoping we might see an end to this madness sometime soon, and may the gaming videos live on. And in other gaming-related news, the sequel to the original MOBA, Defenders of the Ancients, is finally available to play for everyone. For the first time, anyone in the world can hit Valve's Steam page and download a free copy of the game and play several free characters right out of the box. Other characters and upgrades are of course available with a small fee. My take on MOBAs: they're incredibly addictive, incredibly fun, and incredibly hard to learn, so be prepared for a steep learning curve. Also be prepared for quite a bit of grief if you've never touched one of these games before. There's a lot of lead sauce in these games. That said, Dota 2 is one of Valve's flagship titles and promises to be a ton of fun. I look forward to seeing you guys on the battlefield. And speaking of game releases, Blizzard has finally given us a release date for the much anticipated Reaper of Souls Diablo 3 expansion. Reaper of Souls brings with it a host of new features, including a new character class, the Crusader, a bump in the level cap to 70, and adventure mode where players can play across the world accepting challenges to get better loot by fighting rare bosses. The expansion also heralds the downfall of one of the most hated features in the game, the auction house, where players can sell and buy their in-game items for real-life money. Now, Diablo 3 got a lot of hate from critics and gamers alike when it first came out on the PC, mostly due to that auction house. The whole point of Diablo is run around, kill stuff, get stuff, grow bigger and stronger so you can kill more stuff and bigger stuff, and the auction house really kind of watered down that experience. I mean, you could just basically buy any epic loot item you wanted. You didn't have to even kill anything for it. Reaper of Souls is going for $40, which is almost as much as the original game itself. So that does bring us to the question of the day. Will you or will you not be playing the new Diablo 3 expansion? Why? Why not? Let me know in the comments down below. Whether you love Diablo 3 or hate Diablo 3, the new expansion Reaper of Souls hits stores March 25th, 2014. In other gaming news, a Killer Instinct tournament was put on hold because of an Xbox One DRM check after the internet went out. The problem occurred during a tournament held by Team Spooky at Queens College in New York. Basically, the internet goes out, the players are allowed to finish their current match, and then the game just will not work at all. Now, right off the bat, this does sound like the fault of the evil overlords at Microsoft and their dreaded DRM schemes. For possibly the first time in history, though, it's not necessarily Microsoft's fault that this actually happened. Killer Instinct is a digital-only game, which means it's going to have to pass some kind of DRM check at some point. That DRM check can only pass if it's the original console the game was bought on, or one of the accounts signed in is the person who bought it. Since none of these were the case, the system just booted them out. So this actually really isn't an issue with Microsoft as much as it's an issue with digital-only content. While Microsoft might not be so much directly at fault for the whole thing, it does really hinder the chances of Killer Instinct entering the tournament scene in any kind of serious way. It's also kind of silly that they could probably fix the entire issue by just putting the game out on disc. And that of course brings us to our last segment, our featured cosplayer of the week. Each and every single week I'll choose a new cosplayer that you guys might not have had the chance to meet yet. This week I choose you, Fantasy Ninja. Fantasy Ninja focuses her time on manga, anime, and video game cosplay with a particularly awesome Bayonetta. One of the main reasons I chose Fantasy Ninja for this week, though, is that she really gets into the character that she's playing. You can tell by all her photos how seriously she takes her craft, and she's actually trying to act like the character she's portraying instead of just posing and being sexy, which is not necessarily a bad thing, but I do really appreciate when somebody actually puts the time in to act like their character. well done. If you'd like to check out more of Fantasy Ninja's work, links to that can be found in the description down below. And remember, if you've got a cosplayer you'd like me to feature on the Geek Spot, just shoot me a tweet at Sean Caspian and let me know who you'd like to feature, and we just might have him on the show. And there you have it, all the geeky news that is news for Saturday, December 21st, 2013. Thanks so much for watching, guys. Please remember to like, fave, and subscribe if you enjoyed today's video. I'm Sean Caspian. Until next time, arigatou gozaimashita.